Okay, I am live. Hello, hello. You are tuned in to Katie Talk 101. Please make sure you come through the door and hit that like button. First of all, I would like to say happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to myself. Okay, good morning to you. I know it is pretty early on a Sunday morning. So if you come and you watch the playback, make sure you hit that like button, okay? Most definitely. All right, you know how I do it. I just jump right into it. Okay, so a whole lot of things have been going on the internet dealing with Dr. Umar Johnson and Kevin Samuels. So there was some words said. There was a girl that ended up calling into Kevin Samuels' show, and she was wondering why don't Kevin Samuels talk to the black women how he speaks, how Dr. Umar speaks to the black woman. And Kevin Samuels did this little imitation and bam, here you go. You guys know how the subscribers are. They can be pretty messy. So all of them started talking about, ooh, Dr. Umar needs to go up against Kevin Samuels. I would love to see that debate. By the way, that is a debate that I probably would like to see myself. But, Kevin Samuels don't too much intertwine with trying to come up against anybody that say anything about him. You guys know it's a lot of stuff going on around the internet dealing with Kevin Samuels and allegedly, supposedly his sexuality. Some pictures resurfaced, but that's neither here or there right now. That's a whole another topic. But I want to send a shout out to Neek at Night because she really, really broke off into this situation dealing with Kevin Samuels and Dr. Umar. So I have a little small clip from her Instagram, and I'm going to let you guys take a listen to this, and then I'm just going to give my small opinion on it. Here we go. And this is fair use. Big shout out to Nikki and Night. You guys check her out on Instagram as well. Here we go.
Build you up. And what makes it so bad about these so-called life coaches, some of them actually regurgitate a lot of Dr. Umar talking points. People send me clips. People send me clips of some of these YouTubian opportunist so-called life coaches, and I'm seeing some of them quote me verbatim without giving credit source. And some of them claim to not even like me. So why are you quoting my material and not referencing me? You obviously watch me. You obviously watch me because too much of my material is coming out of your mouth. It's a whole group. There's at least 12. I think I've counted 12 different YouTubian beta male wannabe life coaches that are out there slandering black women, attacking black women, degrading black women. I count about a dozen. I'm going to call them the dirty dozen of division. The triple D, the dirty dozen of division. There's about 12 members of the dirty dozen of division, 12 beta males, life coaches who are trying to build a platform by making black women feel bad. I don't like it. I can't appreciate black men trying to make a dollar off of making black women feel bad. And unfortunately, our black women, some of them are so thirsty for validation that they're participating. They're participating in the attacks and slander against the black female community, and that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. No black woman should ever subject herself, even for amusement, the black woman should never subject herself to another man's condemnation. And what makes the condemnation so ridiculous for me, it's mostly superficial. Most of the assessment is superficial, brothers and sisters. It's superficial. You weigh too much. You don't have the right body type. You don't have enough education. You don't make enough money. This is European standards. This isn't African. That's not who we are.
Okay, I wanted to end it right there. I didn't want to run too much of her stuff from her page. You guys check out Nika and Night Breakdown as well. She did that about 11 hours ago. But I wanted to just kind of jump on what Dr. Umar just said. There's a whole group on Facebook basically called a manosphere. And these are basically, I guess, guys that's probably, more than likely been hurt by women. And they have whole channels dedicated to speaking out against women and speaking about sometimes their personal experiences or stuff that they've seen other people go through. And when it comes to certain channels and certain pages, like for me, Katie Talk 101, I put out, different news segments, things that happen out here in the real world. Sometimes I'll talk about different things that happen in the YouTube world with different beefs. But all together, I try to come up with some type of end game at the end of that video where I try to say, okay, this happened in the news. Let's say this woman jumped out of her car, seen her baby daddy with a girl, and she, ended the life of the girlfriend. The topic is sometimes you have to walk away. Okay, I did a story about that. You guys check out that story about Tia. It happened in DC. Okay, but looking at the situation when it comes to a lot of these pages that's been made against women, just being honest, it comes from a lot of guys that's been hurt. And also on the flip side, they're using women, women of color to push their message. And it's like they're pushing the message in a bad negative light when it comes to the light that they shine on black women. But I try to think like most of these channels are not talking in a way where it can improve these women. They're talking in a way to tear them down and talk down on them. And I just think if you're constantly talking about a certain topic, you should be aiming to improve the situation, not just, basically what they say, you beating a dead horse here. I mean, you get up on your channels, these people in the manosphere get up on their channels, you don't hear any of them talking about, getting their self together so they can be better men. You hardly ever hear these guys in the manosphere talk about, well, I know if I get out here and go to these type of places, I may run into a wretched woman. You guys stay away from these places. You guys, if you meet a woman and she does this or she does XYZ, these are usually the women that you want to stay away from. These are the women, you want to stay away from. You're not hearing them talk like that. You're hearing them talk about, oh, these single mothers are bad for the community. Do you ever think, maybe you should put out some type of steps that people can take to better themselves so they won't run into women like this? But all you do is just bash women. Like, I don't see any positive end game to you just constantly talking down on women. And it's just weird. It's just weird to me. And another thing I was thinking about, how many of those men that are out there in the manosphere, think about most of the guys that have the channels and stuff in the manosphere department of YouTube, how many of those guys are actually married? They sit around all day talking about how women are not marriage material. You have children. No man wants to marry a woman with children. Then you ask these guys, do they have children? And a lot of them have children. They sit around and talk about how a woman is in this certain position and it equals to her not being marriage material. How many, excuse me, how many times have you been married, sir? Are you currently married? Are you engaged? Are you even dating? Because how some of these guys sit in their rooms or their basements or wherever they record their videos, I just I don't see a lot of women, coming to them and serving, like being servants to these men. These men sit on their panels all day talking about women submitting to them. I never seen any of these guys in the manosphere a woman knock on the door and bring this man a cup of cold ice water. Here you go, baby. While he's sitting there, oh, and a woman does this and a colored woman does that. Here's a cold cup of water, baby. Here you go. You're working hard. Okay, just ring the bell if you need anything else. You never see any women actually being submissive to these so-called men in the manosphere. And I don't know if one of them probably run across this video, they may be like, "Hey, I'm gonna hire a girl to walk in the room and give me a drink." Watch, they're gonna do that now. But I'm just saying, whenever you're taking advice from anybody of any sort, these guys in the manosphere, you're taking advice from them, look and see how they're living. Are they living in a way where they're attracting these fit, submissive, these women that are meeting to them, these women that are listening, all of these women that they say that you should have, those men have it? And the answer is, I don't see it. I see Kevin Samuels behind some dim light with some nice candles lit and a nice put together suit on. But I never seen a woman come in and even give this man a drink. All I see is a bunch of contrived calls that he put together, and he told these women, okay, now you're going to call me and you're going to say this. And then I'm going to use Tommy Sotomayor's talking points and say, Black women are not the most graduated, they're the most enrolled. Come on now. Everybody should pretty much know by now, even if you're just sitting back entertained by Kevin Samuels. I'm pretty sure you know by now most of these, and I'm going to say, just shooting out a number, I think about 75 to maybe 85% of those calls are set up calls that he probably paid women to call in and do this. Because I don't just see a woman, because I mean, just being honest, I know a couple of women that listen to Kevin Samuels, and I never heard none of these women that I've been around say, I'm gonna call him. No women actually want to call to that man. I think a lot of these phone calls are set up. I don't think they're real. Just being honest, I don't think a lot of these phone calls are real. But what I'm saying is, what is the end game? What's the goal of these guys in the manosphere? Are they all just sitting around, no woman, no girlfriend, no woman being submissive to them, but they're talking about how guys should go after these fit, submissive women with no children. And I don't see none of them with it. So I think that alone is something to think about when it comes to the guys that are like diehard fans of them. And then on the other hand, when it comes to on YouTube, especially in social media, putting down Black women is a thing. It's a thing that's making people lots of money, getting people lots of views. Just sitting back talking about how you don't like Black women is a thing now. So you got to think, if this is a thing that you're getting on and you're attaching yourself to, and you're riding the gravy train of putting the Black woman down, that gravy train ain't gonna last a very long time. You better get while the getting is good, because I don't know, that stuff like that just don't last long. You just can't get out here. It comes to a point where you're gonna have to most definitely switch it up, because who gonna sit around here for 5, 10, 15 years and listen to you talk about how Black women ain't ish? Who gonna sit around and just listen to that? And like Dr. Umar said in that little clip I just played, a lot of the women that go along with it, they're seeking validation. I remember when Kevin Samuels ended up going viral with the average at best girl, and everybody was like, yes, that girl is ugly and she doesn't deserve a man that makes money. Look at her, look at her. And then I look up and people say that Kevin Samuels, he rates himself a 9. Can you believe that? Kevin Samuels, you are just like the women Oh, and I heard somebody say this on a panel that I was watching. You are just like the women that you speak on. When that girl was you asked her to rate herself and she did, you said most black women rate themselves way too high. 8, 9, 10, that's Beyonce, that's Kelly Rowland. It's another woman he mentioned. I can't think of her name, but it's like an old school type of woman. But Dorothy Dandridge, it's some woman that he says he always say this woman name when he's talking about 8, 9s, or 10s. He speaks about Rihanna. You know, he say Rihanna is a 9 or a 10. Kelly Rowland is a 9. Beyonce is an 8. He say stuff like that. So Kevin Samuels, you got yourself up there comparing yourself to Beyonce. You're in the category with Kelly Rowland, Beyonce, and stuff like that. And most of the time, just being honest, when people measuring themselves on this 1 to 10 scale, I mostly hear women compare themselves on this scale. I don't too much hear, a man comparing themselves on this scale. But I'm just thinking like you guys are worshiping this man in this expensive suit that's basically took bits and pieces of different people that he's seen on YouTube. The number one person he been buying off of is very obvious, and that's Tommy Sotomayor. Shout out to him. He stole a lot of his talking points, a few other people as well. And I just think hold on, let me share this. I just think that you guys need to watch who you are worshiping. Y'all need to watch who you're worshiping. But I just noticed when you're in a space where you have black women out here that most of us probably didn't have a father in our lives. So we're seeking validation from a man. And then on the other hand, you have a lot of black men out here who didn't have fathers in their lives. And they're seeking guidance from men. That's where you come up with the Kevin Samuels and the Dr. Umar Johnsons. Because, don't get me wrong, Dr. Umar, he speaks about a lot of good things, and I like a lot of his talking points, but he using the black women too. Just like the video that he made when he was taking up for black women at the end. Hold on. At the end of that video, he was saying, "Hit my cash out." So I'm just thinking, at the end of that video, you asking women to hit that cash out, hit your cash out, but you're taking up for them, calling them queens. I don't get that. You supposed to be taking up for the black woman because you love the black woman, and at the end, you're saying, "Hit my cash out." Really, Dr. Umar? So really, when it comes to this Dr. Umar and Kevin Samuels situation, they are both one and the same to me. They really are one in the same. Okay, so I'm gonna share this, getting off that topic and going into this. There was a picture that surfaced of Williams, and it had the whole internet talking about how different she looks. And for a reason, I did kind of put these two stories together, the story about Dr. Umar Johnson and Kevin Samuels, and this story about Serena Williams. Let me make sure I'm sharing it. You guys, make sure you hit that like button when you come in, please. Okay, so here we go. So this is the picture of Serena Williams that surfaced. And as you can see, Serena looks very, very different. She looks like her the color, her hue has, gradually lightened up. Not just gradually, just looking at the tone that she originally is in this picture here, she's probably a good three, maybe a good 3.5 shades lighter than her original tone. And if you guys remember when Dr. Umar Johnson was just talking, he was just saying a lot of the talking points of Kevin Samuels are basically, what people would call the European standards. And for him to say that, it was really funny because I remember when Kevin Samuels actually said he goes by the European standard of beauty. You probably thinking, what does this have to do with Serena? I'm going to tell you this. Kevin Samuels, in one of his videos, said scientifically, black women are unattractive. And Kevin Samuels also said that he goes by the European standard of beauty. So whenever you hear men say, don't know men talk about the European standard of beauty, there you go. One of the most popular men on the internet right now says that he goes by the European standard of beauty. I remember when I was on a journey of like not putting chemical relaxers in my hair, and I remember when I had a fro. Seeing, I remember seeing little posts on Facebook about guys not liking natural hair women. So please, when I hear guys say, "Why are there women out here putting this mess in their hair? Why are they out here relaxing their hair? Why are they out here putting weave in their hair? Why are women out here lightening up as Serena is?" It's not because she's dating a non-black man. Serena Williams is still suffering from things that she went through her childhood, and it's still affecting her 39 years later. And it may be crazy to say, but I was just thinking to myself, thank God that Serena actually had a baby by a non-black man. Because if she didn't, if she had a little girl that looked just like her, same skin color and all of that, she would be projecting her insecurities off on her little girl. So it's probably a good thing that she did have a mixed race child. I think it is, because for the sake of that little girl's self-esteem, she had a little girl that's a lighter hue than her, and she feels more comfortable. She feels more comfortable with how she raises this little girl. Oh yes, and I'll probably do a review on this. I see this just dropped about an hour ago. Kevin Samuels addressed his haters and false rumors. I believe it was Tasha K that had a interview with Kevin Samuels. So I'm most definitely gonna do a review on that as soon as she drops that. But what do you guys think? Do you think the European standard of beauty affects women in such big amounts because it's actually the men that are pushing it? Because just being honest, I've been around non-black people and I don't hear this light skin, dark skin type of rhetoric. I don't hear it. I remember I was listening to a YouTuber the other day, and she dropped a video, and it was about a celebrity, and the celebrity actually said he didn't even want dark skinned women in his parties. Just think how that crushes women when they show up to a party and they're told by a celebrity you can't get in because your skin color is too dark. That can actually scar a person. That can actually scar a person. And I just think, just being honest, women are out here trying to look good for other men. And if they feel like, hey, if I probably do something to my skin and lighten it up, if she trying to look attractive, they're gonna do what they want to do to look attractive. Whether it's putting a wig on, putting on some makeup, some lashes. To some women, they go as far as to getting cosmetic surgery done just so they can look good. It's sad, but it's true. But I want you guys to drop your comments below. Make sure you like the video. And most definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. So, Unwind with Tasha K did actually interview with Kevin Samuels, addressing some different things. And once I check that interview out, I'm most definitely going to do a recap of that. So, you guys drop your comments below. And make sure you check out the Wiley show this evening at 7. I will be on his panel, three men, two men and a lady. So you guys check out the Wiley Show. I will be there at 7 o'clock. And I am signing out. Katie Talk 101. Thank you so much for tuning in. And happy Mother's Day.